Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome to another Festive Tag Tuesday. Today I am doing the Cozy Christmas Movie book tag. This was originally created by Art at Bookshelf Odyssey, and this is Art's first original tag, and he did a great job with it. He's a huge Charles Dickens fan, so many of his answers included Dickens, but all of these prompts are about Christmas movies. And I was tagged by the lovely Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, so thanks to Kelly for tagging me. I will leave links to both of their channels and their tag videos in the description box below, so please go and check those out because they're a lot of fun. So I'm excited to be doing this tag just before Christmas, and I am going to do the Canadian edition of this tag. All of the books that I chose for the prompts are Canadian authors. So let's get started with these prompts. Okay, plus I have all of the movies, most of the movies, not all of them, most of the movies. So I'm going to show those as well. So first up is the Santa Claus. This is a classic for sure. And the prompt is to recommend a book about family. So for this one, I chose The Strangers by Katarina Vermette. And this is a story about 3 generations of women from the Strangers family. And it's a continuation of The Break, her first book, which was also fantastic. But this one focuses on one particular family rather than the other one, which focused on the community. Okay, so next up is The Grinch. I recommend a book about the redemption of an unlikable character. So this one was a little trickier for me, and I wouldn't say that I disliked this character, but I chose Son of a Trickster by Eden Robinson. The main character is Jared, who maybe at first glance might not be, someone that you instantly like. He makes pot cookies, he drinks too much, he does drugs, he's not your star student by any means, but there's also something about Jared that is endearing, and when you realize what he has to deal with in his life, you can't help but like the kid. Okay, number 3 is The Polar Express. Recommend a book about travel. So for this one, I decided to stick with train travel. So I had to go with The Sleeping Car Porter, which is this year's Giller Prize winner, and this is by Suzette Mayer. And it is about Baxter, who is a black gay man trying to make enough money to go to dentistry school. And he is a sleeping car porter on a train that is going across Canada. So this is a really good read. Okay, the next prompt, here we go, is Home Alone. Recommend a book about a character who faces challenges on their own. So this prompt had me thinking a bit, and I am going to go with a former Giller shortlisted book that I really enjoyed. It surprised me how much I enjoyed it. So for this, I picked The Listeners by Jordan Tannehill. And this is about a woman who hears a humming sound and no one else seems to hear it. And she ends up being alienated from her family. And just the isolation and in many ways abandonment that she feels is very palpable in this story. Okay, number 5 is the Hallmark Christmas Movie. This is to recommend a book that you find cozy. So the book I picked for this, I haven't read it yet, but it's on my TBR shelf and it has been for a while. I chose The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie. This is by Alan Bradley. This is a young adult thriller mystery that takes place in the 1950s. And I think it could be considered a cozy mystery. The main character is a young girl who finds a dead guy. And if you've read this, let me know what you think of it. Number 6 is A Christmas Story. I don't have this movie. And Art says that even though he's given this movie a couple of chances, he can't enjoy it. So he says, recommend a book that you didn't like the first time and tried to reread it a second time. Did you like it better the second time around, or did you still DNF it? So for this, I'm going with Wee Jane by Amy Wall. I had started this book, and then I put it aside because it just wasn't gelling with me. And then on the second try, I did finish it. I wouldn't say that I liked it better. However, the second time around, I at least finished it. But yeah, it just, I know some people really enjoy this book, but it wasn't for me. It really wasn't my thing. The next prompt is number 7. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is to recommend a book that always makes you laugh. We have all 4 vacation movies here. So for this, I have to go with one of my faves, and that is Up and Down by Terry Fallis. And really, any of Terry Fallis's books, are very funny. So any of them would work for this prompt. And if you watch my channel, you know I talk about Terry Fallis quite a bit. Okay, number 8 is A Miracle on 34th Street. And since Art likes the remake better than the original, he says to recommend a book that is a retelling of a classic. Or since the film is about belief, recommend a book about faith in something. So for this one, I'm going to go with another book that I haven't read yet, and that is Aisha at Last by Uzma Jalaluddin. And this is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and it's done Muslim style. So I think that it will be really interesting when I do get to it. Next is number 9. It's a Wonderful Life, and this says to recommend a book that you have reread, especially if it's been more than twice. Do you like rereading books? Why or why not? So I had an answer for this, but then I changed my mind because I'm going to use it later. So since I haven't reread too many books, it really limited the books that I can actually choose from. So for this one, I am going to go with The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I had read this in the early 90s, a few years after it came out, and then again when I did Mondays with Margaret. So this is one of the books that I've reread. Okay, number 10 is The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I've actually never seen. And the prompt is to recommend a scary book. So the book I chose for this is one that I don't hear about too often, and I don't know how scary it is really, but it's definitely a psychological horror and ghost story, and it's The Residence by Andrew Piper. This is based on true events of the president in 1853 when his son is killed in a train accident. And this was just a really interesting story, and I thought it was very well written. Okay, oops, sorry. Next is Elf. Recommend a holiday book, and it can be a book about any holiday, not just Christmas. So for this, I had to go with a Canadian icon. I chose Home from the Vinyl Cafe by Stuart McLean. This is a collection of stories, and Stuart McLean was a beloved storyteller and well known for his funny, heartwarming, and cozy stories. And Christmas isn't Christmas without his story from this collection called Dave Cooks a Turkey. This is another one if you really want a good laugh. And then the final prompt is A Christmas Carol. Recommend your favorite classic book. So this is the book that I have read more than any other book, and none of you are going to be surprised because it is one of Canada's biggest classics. Obviously, I had to choose Anne of Green Gables. And the final thing is to tag some friends who love Christmas. So I know that there's not much time left before Christmas, but you could do this after Christmas too, I think. But I'm going to tag Kristin from Enter the Book, And I think that I will also tag Michael from Michael Romeo Talks Books. Him and Micah Cummins are doing a read-along of A Christmas Carol. And then I'm also going to tag Nikki from Red Dot Reads. I don't think I've tagged her in a while. So, and of course, anyone who wants to do this, you know, before the festive season is all over, it's a lot of fun, so consider yourself tagged, and let me know if you do it so that I can watch it. Thanks again to Art for creating the tag, and to Kelly for tagging me. Please let me know what some of maybe your favorite Christmas movies are, and what books would you pair up with them. I would like to hear all about that. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.